Welcome back to Journey Through the Darkness, the podcast. I am Jordy, your host, and I am a certified spiritual life coach, human design consultant, and life transitions coach. Let's hop right into today's podcast.
Hi, loves. Welcome back to Journey Through the Darkness, the podcast. Today, I have a really special guest, and I can't wait to bring her into your life. She is phenomenal. Her name is Dorela Iepan. I hope I'm not butchering that, but she's an emotional coach, certified emotion code practitioner, and the author of A Perfect Relationship, which is a 28-day guide for pure love. She is happily married and has 2 kids, and she's accepted her mission in life, which is to bring out the light of people's hearts. And for that, she uses techniques such as the emotion code, which I've experienced, tapping, the seeding system, and meditations. She has already contributed to the transformation of her clients in over 500 individual sessions and over 100 live workshops. Welcome, Dorela. How are you?
Hello, Jordi. I'm perfect. I'm really excited to be here with you. I think we have so many things to share with the people here. So I'm really, really, really excited.
I agree. Well, thank you for agreeing. Thank you for being here. So I know I read your bio, but if you want to introduce yourself to the people in your own words.
Well, it's exactly what you said. There are tools that I use that I love, and I got certified in the emotion code. It's something really next to my heart. As you already mentioned, you've lived it and you feel the change in your life. It's something incredibly easy to use, and I love seeing my clients when they light up during the sessions and they are like, this is incredible. It's like so much has shifted in my life, and this is already in the session. And then after a few days or weeks, I find out that things shifted in their life, and they still have a hard time understanding that it was so easy to have a beautiful life after the session.
Yeah, guys, you have no idea. I tried it for myself. So me and Dorella met on a networking group just because, we're coaches who believe in coaching. We're trying to stay connected and grow our audience. And out of nowhere, we decided, hey, let's collaborate. And I experienced the emotion code, and I had already read the book. So I had an idea of what it was, but it blew me away. I have never had a session where literally we could move through stuff so easily. I literally felt the energy activate and I felt the energy move. And you could physically feel the release of all these stuck emotions. I think what shocked me the most was all the prenatal stuff and all the stuff that happened before birth. You want to explain a little bit more about what the emotion code is?
Yes, I would like to explain a little bit how I've seen it before knowing there was a book, because I always like to explain to people to let them imagine the kids when they are born into this world. I don't think there is a child coming into this world wanting to do bad things to people, honestly. So you see that child's face, and the child came to this world to give love to everybody and receive love. And I was saying that actually we all have light in our hearts, and there is only love that we have. But things make us experience stuff, and we want to protect the pure heart that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, well, you will see that there's things that are protecting the heart. And in the emotion code, there is a similar explanation. We have trapped emotions in our body, and trapped emotions consist the raw material to build a wall to protect the heart. So it's the same thing that I saw in my childhood, and I was trying to explain to people. And actually, when we protect this heart with this wall, we're not helping ourselves, because it hurts ourselves. Where love cannot pass anymore, you protect yourself or of something bad, but love is blocked also. And when we release trapped emotions, either from the body or from the wall, heart wall, we see something changing. And you are talking about emotions, prenatal emotions.
Yeah.
And what's beautiful in this technique is that it's not a therapy sessions. We didn't discuss your history, your problems. I was like, I don't need to know everything. It will be smoothly, and it's a light work.
Mhm.
And I was explaining that I love to go underneath the surface. It's not just, oh, I suffered something. Yes, but you suffered that thing because of something that was there previously. And that's how we discover that there are not only emotions, trapped emotions from situations that happened in our life now, but you have also inherited emotions, prenatal emotions, preconceptions emotions, and also absorbed and shared with other people.
Wow.
So that's why you are not stuck with one experience. You are free to discover everything that's trapped over there, and shifts are so important because you went down beneath everything, and once they are out, they're gone.
Yeah, guys, and just to kind of go even a little bit deeper, the way she explained it was beautiful, right? But for someone who's actually experiencing it, just like she said, you don't really have to go deep as far as talking about it, reliving that moment, but you can still move through these feelings. So if there's anything, for example, for me was my divorce, right? It's like, oh, this happened to me, but then you don't realize what got you into that relationship in the first place, right? When we worked together, we were talking about business, and I was a little frustrated because I'm like, man, my creativity is gone. And I'm so tired. I feel like I'm procrastinating, but I have a mission, right? There's something that I came to do, and I know it's time. I just have to get it done. And it was surprising how, we went through this process, and what was tied to creativity into the procrastination had nothing to do with those things. They were just symptoms of a lack of self-worth and a hatred and all of these other emotions that came up that really surprised me. But honestly, Dorela, how did you even get into this? What was your journey like, I guess, from beginning to right now?
I told you the story about this heart that I saw, and then my journey was also through a divorce that didn't happen.
Mm,
And the journey for me was that I thought I will get a divorce, but something inside me was saying, this is not the way. Because before I got married, I said, God, if I have to marry this man, it has to be for my life. I don't want to get divorced. So I was like, do you remember before you got married that you said to yourself you
yeah.
don't have? So I began to search something, answers. And thankfully, with the pandemic situation, uh, we didn't get the usual stuff done. So instead of couples therapy, I discovered some tools that allowed me to work on my emotions. I discovered tapping and other tools. And the teacher was telling us about the emotion code. I bought the book, and at the right time, I read the book. And I said, oh my God, this is so easy. So you just get out, release the emotions, and things will shift in your life. So I did it on myself, and I started calling people in and say, okay, I need to do an emotion code session. Do you want one? Okay. So I begin to do to people, and they were exactly like you were, amazed. So how can this be so simple? And the question that popped out to me was, if you need 1 second for a trauma to get trapped in your body, why should it take longer to get it out from your body? And
That's
people
powerful.
never seem to think about this. But actually, this is the question to ask yourself. Why do you need years of therapy? Why can't you have seconds of therapy?
That's
So,
powerful.
yeah, and that's why using all the tools I have, because some people will want to talk about their trauma. So I'm there. We can talk about it. It's only a different tool that we will use when we want to talk about it. But with the emotion code, when you feel that I have it, it's done. I'm tired of this. I want things to change. Things will change. Just like that.
Guys, and I can vouch for that. So we had our session probably maybe 2, 3 weeks ago. And a couple of days after, I started to see a difference. Everything that I was doing, I kept doing. The only change was perception. I started to allow creativity to come in. I started to do things that I had been procrastinating on. And I cannot tell you what changed. There was just a feeling of this has to get done. And there was clarity of mind of I'm ready to do it now. So there is power behind all these tools. Obviously, I'm a coach. I vouch for coaching. I think there's power in like moving through emotions, but this is another alternative. And it's also aligned, therapy. I went to therapy for over a year. And even though it helped me function in the present, it was not moving me forward, right? Coaching did that where it took me from the present moment to the future. Like, where are you going? What do you wish for? But there are things that are so painful and so deep that you don't really want to relive it. Now, when you have an emotion code session, I guess this is more of a question. Is there a chance that an emotion can surface that is too big, that feels too overwhelming, Dorela?
No, because the body will protect you.
Good.
And I've discussed about the heart wall. And for instance, we can have a heart wall, but we cannot remove it because it protects us. So we really have to trust our bodies. And you are talking about the therapy and coaching. And I'm not here to say don't do that. Actually, it's the opposite. You have to do everything that you feel aligned doing, because every therapist, every coach comes with an energy that will help you move forward. You have that therapy that where you have to relieve, to understand. I am not an understanding person, because the question I asked is, okay, so you understood it. Is it helping you move forward or not?
I love
Because if
that.
it's not, let's do something different.
I love that.
For this, we're a little bit discussing about coaching and business stuff. But for instance, so my boyfriend broke up with me. Why? Okay, you want to understand why? Yes, you will be able to move forward. Yes, what will change in your life if you understand why he said it's over? You know? Yes, exactly. You need something, a closure. Okay, I will give you the closure. It's over. He's not good for you. And
It's
we move
true.
forward,
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Sometimes it really is that simple. And obviously in coaching, we have different modalities, right? Like I use tapping with my clients. I have different meditations and things that we use spiritually. Now, just like she's saying, a lot of times we find that people want to keep going down the rabbit hole of he broke my heart. Why did this happen? And a lot of times the answer is a choice. Do you choose to continue to keep digging? Or do you choose that this is the closure that you needed and we get to move forward now? Because the reality of life is everything that you want, you're the only one holding yourself from it. You are the mountain, you are the block. So the moment that you make a choice to release something, there are thousands of methods to help you move forward. Because at the end of the day, that's, again, I love therapy. I went for over a year, but it never helped me move forward. It was just about this is how you manage stress. This is how you handle the overeating. This is how you handle depression. I don't want to live with depression. I want to move away from it and get out of bed and do what I came to do. So sometimes I'm not saying don't feel your feelings. The body is the authority, right? And this is a human design mindset. The body knows, the body is the authority. When you have to make a decision, slow down, tune into your body, really see what's coming up. Now, this thing that she does blew me away because it was a level deeper than anything I had ever been able to do for myself. I'm able to slow down, I'm able to process, but all of that takes time. It takes time to journal, takes time to cry, to feel your feelings. This was something that kind of expedited the process, and I saw results within a couple of days. Yeah, honestly, the tapping I've also tried as well. I've used it with my clients, but guys, believe me, don't miss out on this. This is the real deal. And if you haven't read the book, I recommend it. There's a ton of books around the body keeps the score. The body really is the second brain and is not talked about enough. Is there anything that you would add there, Dorela?
Oh, yes. I think it's not that I think, the body is our only home on this life. And we really need to have a relationship with our body, no matter what happened before. And I'm reading a book about matrix re-imprinting, because I'm doing tapping and also matrix, and it's unbelievable what we can do. And you have all the answers in the body. It's exactly what you said. And when you have the instructions manual, this means someone who can help you understand the messages, you will see that actually everything is easy because the body is talking to you. So the emotion code is using the body muscle testing, but we do muscle testing in theta healing, in all sorts of therapy session, in psyche and others. I don't know all the names, but basically you can talk to your body and you really have answers. And when your guts is telling you something, well, listen to the message, because many it happens a lot, like, oh, I felt it, but I didn't follow my gut feeling. And when you follow it, you're like, I felt it, and this is exactly what I needed to do, and it's perfect. And there you are aligned, and things happen exactly as they should happen.
Yes, it's so true. The thing about it, and I think back to my earlier in my journey, right? Right when I was leaving that relationship, there was a feeling in me right before I walked down the aisle where I literally told my dad, like, why are we in a rush? This is just my first wedding. It's funny because it's like, how did I already know that was not the man I was supposed to be with, but yet I still walked down the aisle and marry him? Now, after when I walked away from that relationship, I felt completely devastated. I was like, wow, I failed myself. I'm so embarrassed. The world can't know that I'm divorced. I was 26 and I didn't even know myself. People would ask me, what do you want? Who are you? What do you like? I didn't know. All of that happened because I had gotten so disconnected from my body that I stopped paying attention to the signs. A lot of times, even hunger. Sometimes we avoid eating and it hits like 8 or 9 o'clock and you're like, wow, I have not eaten. Sleep. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. My body's telling me rest. But it's like we live so in the mind. We are going so fast that we miss all the signs. And believe it or not, in my healing, what changed was I slowed down. I found time to meditate, to play with my puppy, to journal, forget TV, forget something that numbs the mind, that keeps you stuck in thinking. I went back to basics, right? Like putting my feet in water, taking baths, sitting outside, watching nature. And it's funny because, we have different modalities that we use. Like for me, it's human design. When I understood, hey, Jordy, the body is the authority. Your emotions are trying to tell you something. You're supposed to feel them. I was like, wow, I spent so much of my life avoiding the feeling because I was like, I'm just a depressed person. The moment I stopped identifying with depression and I started claiming, no, I choose that I want to be happy. I choose that there is more to this life. I choose that whatever it takes, I'm willing to try to not go back to that place where I was, right? But really, all it takes is slowing down, getting familiar with the cues, hunger, sleep, feeling, even your gut is so loud when you're listening. Like your gut, you can literally walk into a room and immediately be like, this is not the room for me. Or meet somebody and feel this soul connection of like, wow, we have a path together. That actually happened when I met Dorela. Her and I were so excited when we came into each other's energy that we're like, oh my gosh, I feel like we need to do something together. Trust those things. Those are the things that open doors. Those are the things that align you with your life where you're supposed to be. Because from a human design perspective, alignment is everything. Life is not supposed to be hard. Things are supposed to come naturally. Things are supposed to come easily. And I'm speaking from experience. I used to be down in the dumps after my divorce. Dorela almost had a divorce. And now here she is telling people, you can choose. You can choose to stay married or walk away, but still choose what kind of life you want. Choice is, guys, if nobody gave you permission, I give you permission to choose. What do you want this life to be? And then let's create it. What do you think, Dorela? I see you smiling over there.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of a journey that I took in 2013. I read a book about a journey, The Alchemist from Paulo Coelho.
So good.
And I was like, this guy is doing an amazing journey, but I'm married. I cannot do this kind of journey. And then I read another book, and it's about the Camino de Santiago in Spain. And I said to myself, okay, I want to go to see this path on my way. And I was thinking of the journaling, as you said. So I only walked 500 kilometers. I don't know in US.
I don't know either. So we're just going to go with that.
Okay. So it's like it took me 3 weeks to walk that distance. So I walked every single day.
Wow.
And there I discovered that all you need when you wake up is your body. And you really need to take care of your body because your legs need to walk. Your arms will feed you, will help you. Your body is helping you move throughout the space, And when I was on this journey, I said that every single man, women, child who wants something in their life, they have to do this kind of journey because there you understand you don't need money, you don't need house, you don't need car. The only thing you need is your body, and pay attention to your body. When I was showering, I was touching my body and really thanking my body that I was able to walk that distance.
Yeah, we take those things for granted. It's so powerful. The fact that every day we wake up and our body turns on and works for us, because underneath all of this, yeah, we are spirits, we are souls, we are beings, right? But the outside is what the world sees. The outside is how you communicate. The outside is, this is the real you. It's in this body, right? So a lot of times we're going so fast, we neglect the one thing that we really need, because like she said, it's not about money. It's not about a house. It's how you feel. Do you feel good or do you feel bad? Are you happy or are you sad? Like really lean into your feelings and realize that you are meant to be well. Well-being is your birthright. And I love that you talked about the journey, because obviously this is kind of where my business has gone, is the journey through the darkness. For me, it was through the darkness and all of that gunk of all of those emotions and that trauma that I had accumulated my whole life. And then while taking this journey of, I know there's something better, I found it. And here we are, right? And now I get to create the rest of the journey. But I love that you took that journey of, even though it was 500 kilometers over a period of 3 days, that is so powerful that you're
21 days.
Oh my God. Okay. 21 days. I stand corrected. It's like, that's a heck of a feat. And that is your body proving to you that that is all you need, because that's a long time to be on your feet. And you took the journey literally. That's so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
and miracle things happen because you are there and for instance, I was very tired some days, and I was like, oh God, I really need someone to come with me until the next stop so that I can move forward. And you know, I was going slowly, so people came, and then someone was like, hello, and we start talking, and then we go together until the next stop. And in other days I feel good and I want to be alone, and I'm like, today I want to walk by myself. So people were coming, they were greeting me and marching forward. And it's so powerful to see that when you think of something, that thing happens, and
Yes.
you got answers to questions you never asked out loud, and the person comes and say, oh, let me share your story, and they will tell you exactly what you needed to hear. And then you see, you ask yourself, but this is incredible. There is a connection, there is something going on, there is something outside this physical stuff, that we have the impression that things are like this. Actually they are not.
Yes.
And then I learned that actually reality is not the way we learned it to be. Things don't happen the way you are told they happen. And
Yeah.
then you're like, how how do things happen if they don't happen as I was told they would happen?
Yeah. Wow. Girl, you touched on so much. I had to take notes because I'm like, wow. Let's compare your journey to this spiritual journey, if you will, right? You talked about walking this path, and then some days you didn't want to be alone. Boom, people showed up. In this journey of finding yourself, of being an entrepreneur, of trusting that inner voice of like, this is what you're meant to do. This is not to do by yourself. Sometimes you do need support. Sometimes you do need people to pick you up. There are days when you want to be alone, and being alone is needed so that you can connect back to your body and really feel what is going on in here. You talked about your thoughts creating your reality. That is what I preach until the day that I die, because I've experienced it. I went from thinking life was happening to me and everything was so bad and so hard after my divorce and my childhood. Poor me, right? The victim mindset. And then I decided to change my thoughts and to override the negative ones and to pollute my environment with positive things. And then positive things started happening, right? You talked about how it's almost like magic, right? It really is. Then you talked about connection and how we're all connected. Absolutely. You are always bringing about people, and you, universe, source, spirit, whatever you call it, God, right? There is a connection between all of us and whatever the source of all of this beauty is, right? So that connectedness allows you to call in people when you're ready, thoughts when you're ready. You just have to decide you're ready, and then you get to choose. You also talked about the illusion of this world, and I'm just paralleling it, right? It is an illusion. When you wake up and really open your eyes, you realize everybody's not your friend. And I don't mean that from a negative place. It's just a lot of people still have a lot of unhealed trauma and they project that on you. The illusion of money, you have to have money to be happy. I've had money, I wasn't happy, right? The illusion of all these things that you need to have, like the degree, the car, the house, none of that matters. But it takes walking that path before you see the illusion for what it is. And then lastly, you talked about like what you perceive is your reality, right? So your perception changes as you walk that journey, as you take that path, and you start to become aware that, wow, I really am choosing and creating my reality. What you said was so powerful. I just wanted to feed it back with a spiritual perspective, because how beautiful that you took a physical journey of something that most of us experience over years in our head and our heart and our bodies, right? You did that in 3 weeks. And all of that clarity came to you in 3 weeks. That's amazing.
Oh, it's a journey. It's not only the 3 weeks, because then life happens. But at a certain time in your life, you discover all the messages, as you also said. You had all those messages throughout your life, and you ignore them. And then everything, it's like you have your box with the puzzle pieces,
Mhm.
and then you have the final piece, and there you can start building your puzzle. And when you see the image, it's like mind blowing, because now you understand that you're not a victim.
Mhm.
There's no one hurting you. You can change everything. You are the creator of your life.
Mm.
And it's not a chance in a million. Now it's a 100% chances for you to have exactly what you want. And that
Yes.
is so empowering. But sometimes people prefer to be victims.
Mhm. And awareness is the first step because you have to become aware. And the thing is, as a child, you know what you're being taught. As a teenager, you know what you've learned. As a young adult, you're like, well, I guess this is the way things are. And then you figure out, I'm not happy. It could be through a relationship, through a job, through having to move somewhere you didn't like. You start to realize, like, I'm supposed to want these things. These things, like, just because it looks good on someone else doesn't mean it fits you, right? But then when you become an adult, the first step is awareness. Maybe through a podcast like this, through a YouTube video, through any of these things, you'll have that awareness of, wait a minute, maybe my thoughts do create my reality. And then that's the point when everything changes. Because at that point, you no longer have to be a victim. You can choose to be empowered. You can choose to be somebody that helps other people. You can choose a life of joy and happiness. If you don't know better, that's okay. You don't know better. But the moment that you become aware that you can change and you can choose, you are choosing to carry the victim mentality and the victim title like it's a thing of pride. And the messages that Dorela was talking about, whether you're spiritual or not, you get messages through people, through videos, through books, sometimes in your sleep. Sometimes something drops in your head and you're like, wow, that is exactly what I needed. Start to trust what you feel. Start to trust those chills, right? Those little gut feelings, those little cramps in your stomach, that little light in your eyes, however you receive it, start to trust the messages because everything is literally happening so that you can wake up to how beautiful this life is. Because it really is. Isn't it a huge change, Dorella, from where you were to where you are?
Oh, yeah. Listening to you, I was thinking of the movie The Secret.
Mm,
And in the movie, John Kendall is this his name. He was talking about his wish to make $100,000, and he's talking the whole process that he did to write Chicken Soup for the Soul. And I'm like, I have the music in my mind and all the story he was telling. And in my mind, seeing this movie, I was like, I have a message so powerful that I want to share with the world. And I'm like, in my mind, I don't know how, but there is something and it's so powerful and I need to do it. So I'm like, okay, so he had already written the book, and he was like, okay, but nothing happened. And he's sharing that I had an idea and I wanted that, and the right person came to him for
mhm,
that. And in the end, the story is okay. So did we do 100,000? No, we did 98,000 US dollars. And he was like, were we mad? No, of course we weren't. It's like 100,000. That's
mhm,
okay. And I said, that's a message for me. That message out there is for me. I have a powerful message. And what do I have to do? I have to do a podcast where I speak to people and I tell them they are powerful. They can do everything they want. They can have everything they want. I also come with tools that help them understand how they can do those things. And I have written a book And what I'm doing, I'm very patient and I'm helping people shift their lives one by one until I get to all the persons that will use my help in the right moment. I
Wow.
also want to share something because you are talking about this victim state and the awareness and the huge blockage that one might have when they understand, okay, so I'm not a victim, and they are scared. So the first thing is to stop at the present moment. You don't have to deal with the past because, yes, it's frightening. You're telling me that I am not the victim of that man that hurt me so bad in my
Mhm.
childhood. Let's don't go there at the beginning. It's just that now you can choose to be a victim
Mhm.
or you can choose to be a creator. So
Mhm.
we're going in the present moment, and starting now, we are creating your future. And with help, you're going in your past and see what you can do for those memories to feel different. I will use this word, to feel different, because things will happen, will change. With the right help, you will say, I am so grateful for the childhood I had, for that person who hurt me, because now I'm the person that I am today. I am empowered and I can change the lives, my life and other people's lives. So you will find so much power in everything that happened in your life. You're not a victim.
Mm. Dorela, you light me up, girl. I'm like, yes to all of that because that is really it. Like when I started looking at my childhood, which, I did have people hurt me. I had a lot of childhood trauma. And then I got married to a narcissist, right? And I'm blaming everybody. This is not my fault. This happened to me. This guy hurt me. The moment I decided to get into, because the present is the only point of power, this is the only time when you can choose to relabel the past and you can create your future, right? The moment that I decided I'm not going to let my past hold me back, my past became my purpose, which is I get to help all the little Geordies of the world. And you talked about the secret and setting that intention. That is the point of choosing. You're making a decision, and then everything conspires so that you get to have that. And even if you don't reach 100K and you get to that 98, look at how much happened for you to get to a place of, wow, I never thought I could do this. You can do that and more. Like you talked about the puzzle, once the pieces come together, the picture is so much better than you imagined because we can only control through the lens of our mind. If you could bypass the mind, there is just unlimited everything. There is money for everybody. There is joy for everybody. We're meant to coexist as free and happy beings. The problem is, it happens, trauma, upbringing, conditioning, inherited emotions. But guys, there are so many ways to clear all of that. And Dorella is proof of this. I'm proof of this. So what are you going to choose? Now, with that, I do want to ask you, Dorella, for the people that are lit up just like me, where can they find you? What do you have going on? I'm going to leave your links in the bio, but I want you to tell them yourself where they can connect.
Oh, I'm not everywhere, but I am everywhere. I'm easy to find, to be found. DorelaIepan.com. I'm on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. So it's easy to find me everywhere. I offer one-on-one sessions, and I have also group sessions, and I schedule them from time to time. Is not a fixed schedule, because there is this emotion code sessions, where you can work on individual or in group sessions, but there is also the tapping that I am also a fan of. The tapping, it's incredible what we do, and I actually work them somehow interconnected, because the approaches are very complementary, and it's important to use them both. And there are the coaching sessions where what I like to say, I hope we still have some time left,
We do.
because you are talking about the therapy sessions, and how I like to explain things is that, for instance, when you're doing therapy, it's like you're watching only the bad herbs in your garden. You're like, oh, I don't like this, let's throw it away, and you're like watching only the negative stuff. The problem with that is that your body will feel that you give it attention only when there is something negative. So it will make more negative stuff for you to work on, because he's like, oh, she's giving me attention. Okay, so the therapy session is only the negative. Then you have on the bright side only the positive. Oh, there is no garbage in there. Yeah, but the garbage is there if you don't see it. And the problem is that you're doing only positive affirmations and stuff like that. And no, I can do it, I can do it. But actually, if you have a garden where you don't take out the bad herbs, the bright ones don't have the place to shine. So you're like working for nothing. And what you have to do is do them both. I'm cleaning one out. I'm putting a beautiful one there. I'm cleaning one out, and the body is in balance and will say, oh, I feel so good. So you took out the negative stuff, but you also came with the good stuff, and I feel amazing.
I love
And
that.
and that's what we have to do, is going with the right side and the left side, and there is balance, and there you feel this empowerment that we are talking about. Because if you have only one, it's like, which arm do you want to take out of your body? Oh, but I want them both if I have them both.
Exactly. Wow, that's powerful. Guys, I told you she was amazing, right? I'll leave all her links in the bio. But is there anything else you want to add, Dorela, before we wrap up? Like a little nugget you want to leave people with?
Oh, I would like to share the pen story, but it's for a new podcast, because we have so much more to talk about. Today was a little bit about the emotion code, but we have more to share together.
Yes, guys, I will be bringing her. Hopefully this episode does well. I believe it will. And we will have her back. So anything that piqued your interest, any questions, any suggestions, anything you want to know more about, just send me a quick note, post it in the podcast, and I'm more than happy to get with Dorela, and we'll be doing more of this, because I just love you. I love your energy. And I know people need to hear this message. This was so powerful. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And well, let's meet again and bring even more light into the world, because we talked about empowering, but I also said that there are things that help you 100%. So let's see what I'm talking about in the next podcast.
I love that. Yes, leave them wanting something more. Well, guys, if this podcast resonated with you, just go ahead and subscribe so that you're the first to know when there is a new episode available for you. Feel free to share with anyone who you think could benefit from this podcast. I will leave her links and my links in the bio, just because I love to stay connected, and I wish you a beautiful day. Bye-bye.